Next slide. I offered a course, it was called Reading the Landscape, based entirely on the domain, where we used aerial imagery and GIS resources to find interesting places that had different types of land use in the past, and we went there and had the students sort of in a Sherlock Holmes sort of way figure out what happened there geologically, what happened there botanically, zoologically, reading the signs in the landscape, and then doing reports on that. And it was a very successful class. Very, very excited about our archaeology field school run by Sarah Sherwood, who is now up at Dickinson College, but we're hoping to snag her back again in the coming years. But she's part of our summer faculty. We dug two different places. One, a rock shelter, where we got down to about 10,000 years into the past, pushing the boundary of what we know about Native American use on the domain into the Paleo-Indian era. Just a fabulous opportunity. Just as a side note, unfortunately, a week before they were to dig at this rock shelter, vandals hit it and destroyed part of the rock shelter, unfortunately. And that's one of the ongoing problems we have on the domain is the maintenance of our cultural resources, and we're looking forward to making sure that we have the right people here in place to ensure that those cultural resources are protected. One of the things that I am really excited about, and it was a theme throughout the summer, both with the archaeology field school, my course, and the undergrad and the high school program, was the King Farm project. For those of you who may not know, we have this spot way out here in the middle of nowhere in the domain called the King Farm. There's a plat that goes back before the university. It's about 100 acres now, or between 50 and 100 acre plat that we think actually was a Cherokee, was an original Cherokee settlement on top of the plateau. So this is one spot in the domain where we have a continuous prehistory to history land use continuum. The most recent occupants of this farm was the King family. Isaac King, up there in the corner, rather tall man, died in 1949. The university acquired this land, but he carried this farm through the Great Depression. It was a very, very important part of the mountain community because it was a successful farm. One of the things we had the students try to figure out using lines of evidence from archaeology and ecology is how can we have a farm so successful on the plateau that can carry the mountain community through the Great Depression when farming doesn't work on the Cumberland Plateau. And so what was fascinating was they through the archaeological evidence that they gathered from the site, they were able to determine this was a place they raised hogs. They had 600 head of hog out there. And the reason they were able to have a successful farm is there was an umbilical cord of carbon and nitrogen coming from the domain out to the King farm and being dumped out there to the hogs. And it was the hogs that made that farm work. They had all kinds through their manure, keeping other crops alive, but also it was an artificial subsidization in an ecosystem sense. It was a fascinating sort of nutrient cycling dynamic. But we had the students figure that out by looking at the dump sites compared to the house site archaeological artifacts. And we're digging the house site. We were able to use remote sensing equipment. This was ground-penetrating radar we borrowed from the University of Mississippi. We were able to find the actual home site, found the cellar to within centimeters. Sarah Sherwood was brilliant. And so we were able to dig the cellar of the King Farm house. And we got down about a meter or so this year. It'll be an ongoing 3-year project. Part of what we did also was oral histories. This is Isla King, who's the niece of Isaac. She works in the dining hall here. And everybody walks by Isla. She's the one who maintains the salad bar. Little tiny lady right there. But here she is when she's 20 years old, running around Lost Cove, collecting ginseng. It's fabulous. So our students got to interview her. So what's exciting about the King Farm is its ecology. It's oral history, it's sociology, it's religion, it's watersheds, it's all these different disciplines that the faculty in the summertime can shine a light on it and highlight to our students, both students who might come here, but also students that are currently here. And it just sort of, I think, amplifies in a tremendous way the advantages that the domain provides to the University of South in terms of exceptional educational experiences in the environment. Just want to close with one more thing. Kevin's in the audience here, so one of the things that we do here really well now, and we built this program over the years, is student research. And I'm sure you've heard a lot from Rob Bachman. I don't know if he talked this morning about it, but this is something we take a lot of pride in. And one of the things that I really get excited about is when you develop a program of research and it has this legacy going back to multiple generations of students. And Kevin and I worked here when we first got here on a project in Dig Cove where we set out plots. And little did he know that those plots 10 years later would become the focus of Leighton Reed's honors thesis, And so, and then Leighton ended up doing internship with Kevin. They worked together, and then we published a paper in a journal, and that helped launch Leighton's career in graduate school. So it's just it's just a great thing. I know Elizabeth's back there. Formerly Elizabeth Bibb of the biology department. We did a project together on St. Catherine's Island on hickories. And 10 years later, Eric Keene did an honors thesis on hickory, using that same data set, and that's going to be a publication. So it's exciting for faculty members when you're here long enough as I've been, and we set up these long-term projects like we can do on the domain or on St. Catherine's, and have this legacy of students sort of following through with research. That's what science is all about, is people following up on other people's research, and when it's within your own house, it's kind of fun. It's around students. Just one more thing. The herbarium is now at 942 species of plants. That's more species than Denmark or the Netherlands. We have tremendous plant diversity under the name. We're about to publish this. And I was just going back through the collections, the vouchers, which are the ones that actually document which are the ones that count for that 940 when you make a publication. 5 of them Scott Evans has. He's got 5 of the vouchers from my class back in 1997. So again, this legacy thing is a lot of fun to see you guys back, and I'm going to conclude with that and answer any questions you might have. Yeah?
I find it paradoxical that Berry College in Rome, Georgia has a campus of about 30,000 acres and has an active timber management program, and it has a lot of land set aside for public hunting areas. They don't have a forestry program. Sewanee has a long-term forestry program, but apparently the domain doesn't have room to support active timber management or hunting. Is there room for that on the domain?
Well, one of the things that we're really challenged with right now, and I think we've been challenged since we began, is to develop a management plan. In 150 years of this school, we've never had a written management plan that actually prescribes sort of things that we would like to do and why and how they fit into the educational mission. We talk about it, and Swarthmore has one for 200 acres that's this thick, and we don't have one for 13,000. We've never had one. And I think that one of the challenges we have is to try to work in all these different things that we like to do with this landscape in a way that provides for the long-term sustainability of some of the educational visions that we have for this place. And certainly forestry is one of them. And Ken Smith and I work together. We're going to be doing a burn out there near Farmfield Bluff that we went out there tomorrow with Kevin to look at it. We're interested in looking at how forest dynamics have changed in the absence of fire, so introducing fire and showing students how to use fire as a management tool is something that we're very interested in. But part of that is timber harvesting, so there'll be a harvest associated with that. So there is that, but it's a lot like Lost Cove. Just let alone the big picture issues of past management and future management. Just accessing Lost Cove, just getting the roads to the point where we can actually take kids down there safely and use it in a way that fits our academic scheduling. It's right now kind of the thing we're challenged with, those immediate issues, let alone the broader horizon things. But there's a commitment by the Strategic Planning Committee through this addendum to do this long-term planning, and I hope that we sort of talked about it, we've laid the groundwork for it, but we really haven't engaged that, and part of it's just going to take a lot of time. We're all busy, but one of the things that we can hope for is that there's a lot of expertise out there, and we don't have to do this alone. We can do this in conjunction with all the wonderful folks that come through these programs who've gone out and learned and can shed light on how we can help us manage this such an important strategic asset. But you're right. I mean, there are a lot of things that we still need to do, and that's one of them.